Well. Looks like someone's getting a bit restless in their current state of residence. Can't say I blame you. It's hard living somewhere that makes you miserable day in and day out. But before you go packing your bags in a feverish bid to escape, let's chat about which states you should definitely avoid relocating to if you want to preserve what's left of your sanity. I've scoured the data to find the biggest dumpster fires that no amount of wishful thinking can extinguish. The struggling states where the American dream goes to die. The places where happiness and prosperity got lost on their way to your neighborhood. If you're determined to move, do yourself a favor and steer clear of these lost causes. I'm saving you a whole lot of future headaches right here. You're welcome in advance. When calculating the worst states in America, we used a highly scientific process involving dartboards, blindfolds, and one very disgruntled intern. Just kidding. We analyzed reams of data from sources like the Census Bureau, Bureau of Labor Statistics, and FBI crime reports. We weighed factors like poverty rates, unemployment, cost of living, infrastructure, healthcare, and how often people move into or flee each state. Some states struggle in most categories, so they were easy choices. But a few seemed decent at first glance, like Oregon, gorgeous landscapes, hoppy craft beer, and no sales tax. Then we remembered Portland, the state's homeless mecca. While city officials moved encampments around, the underlying issues remain. Salem and Eugene aren't much better. Other states had a mix of pros and cons. In the end, we determined the worst states based on their likelihood of improving in 2025 and beyond. Some states actively work to boost their economy and quality of life. Others seem content with the status quo, or make changes too little, too late. We know our list may raise objections, especially from residents of the winning states, but we stand by our methodology, flawed and irreverent as it may be. The truth isn't always pretty, but someone's got to tell it like it is. You've been warned. Now pack your bags, or bunker down for the long haul. The choice is yours. Here are the worst states to live in America. If you value things like a steady job, quality health care, or schools that actually teach kids to read, you may want to avoid some of these struggling states. Let's start with good old Kentucky, land of horse racing, fried chicken, and crippling poverty. The Bluegrass State ranks 4th for highest poverty and loves their minimum wage jobs. Not to mention, they're battling an opioid crisis so bad it makes The Walking Dead seem optimistic. Voters have basically given up on their elected officials, and who could blame them? Things may get prettier in the spring, but the future looks bleak. Then there's Mississippi, coming in hot at number 2. They're poor, uneducated, unhealthy, and proud of it. Flooding is so common the capital city probably has a permanent road closed sign budget. The state leads the nation in poverty and illiteracy, and ranks dead last in infrastructure and economy. But hey, at least they've got grits and blues music going for them. Oklahoma isn't much better. They're ranked in the bottom 5 for health, education, economy, and infrastructure. Even the small towns are drying up and blowing away. The only good news is Oklahoma City is attracting tech companies and remote workers who can't afford California rent. At least the sunsets are nice? California would be an amazing place to live if they could figure out that whole drought and wildfire situation, stop celebrities from breeding, and build a wall to keep out the influencers. The high cost of living and homelessness crisis mean the population is fleeing faster than a wildfire. But don't worry, another Kardashian spin-off is surely on the way. In the end, there may be no escaping at least some struggle in 2025 America. But if you want to avoid full-on misery, steer clear of these doom states struggling with poverty, poor health education, and economies in free fall. The future may be bright somewhere, but likely not here. Here are some factors contributing to decline in these states. Life's tough all over, but some states just can't catch a break. Between clueless politicians, rampant poverty, crumbling infrastructure, and enough opioids to tranquilize a herd of elephants, a few unlucky states seem destined to ride a nonstop struggle bus into the foreseeable future. Take Kentucky, for example. Bluegrass staters have made it crystal clear in survey after survey that they wouldn't trust their elected officials to organize a 2-car funeral procession, let alone run an entire state. With a poverty rate hovering around 4th worst in the nation and a crippling opioid crisis to boot, It's no wonder Kentucky lands on every places to avoid like the plague list. Sure, the scenery's nice, but natural beauty only gets you so far when you can't afford food or health care. Down south, Mississippi's been dealt a losing hand for as long as anyone can remember. They're dead, last in everything from the economy, to life expectancy, to literacy rates. Parts of the capital were underwater just last month, and nearly 20% of the population lives in poverty. The only thing Mississippi has going for it is a low cost of living, mostly because no one in their right mind would pay much to live there. Out west, Oregon can't catch a break thanks to Portland, the unofficial homeless and protest capital of America. While the rest of the state basks in natural splendor and craft beer, Portland's making national headlines for all the wrong reasons. Civic leaders have tried and failed for years to get the city's problems under control. At this point, the only thing that might help is changing Portland's official slogan to "Come for the scenery, stay because you can't afford rent anywhere else." The moral of the story? Unless you enjoy despair, poverty, political ineptitude, or all of the above, you might want to scratch a few states off your list of potential places to call home. The struggle is real, and in some places, it's only getting realer. Here are the best states to live. The states we just trashed may be tempting for their affordability or natural beauty, but trust us, the hidden costs aren't worth it. Unless you enjoy high crime rates, lack of health care, crumbling infrastructure, and weekly natural disasters, look elsewhere. The western U.S. has a lot going for it these days. Colorado, Utah, and Idaho offer stunning scenery, outdoor recreation galore, and burgeoning job markets, especially in tech hubs like Denver and Salt Lake City. The cost of living is still reasonable, and you won't have to worry about your house floating away or the local wildlife carrying you off. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the job market. Major cities like Austin and Houston have become magnets for companies and young professionals alike. The low cost of living means your paycheck will stretch further, even if the politics may make your eyes roll. Sure, the summers are scorching, but that's what margaritas are for. Don't overlook the heartland. States like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan offer natural beauty, outdoor recreation, and culture galore. Cosmopolitan cities like Minneapolis, Madison, and Grand Rapids have thriving dining, arts, and music scenes. The pace of life is slower, communities are tight-knit, and there are 4 seasons to enjoy. You'll never run out of lakes to explore or cheese curds to devour. While the worst states are stuck in a downward spiral, the rest of the country is charging ahead. Any of these alternatives will give you a higher quality of life, stronger economy, and community you can be proud to call home. The hidden costs of the struggling states just aren't worth it. Choose wisely, young grasshopper. The future is yours for the taking. Here are some frequently asked questions about the worst states to live in the U.S. So you're thinking of moving to one of these struggling states, are you? Before you pack up the U-Haul, you probably have a few questions. Allow us to anticipate your concerns and provide some totally unhelpful answers. What exciting opportunities await me in these states? If by exciting opportunities, you mean living below the poverty line, experiencing high crime rates, underperforming schools, crumbling infrastructure, and stunning natural scenery marred by economic blight, then boy howdy. Do these states have opportunities galore? But look on the bright side. The low cost of living will allow you to barely scrape by. Will I fit in with the local culture? Absolutely. As long as you don't mind cousin-loving, meth-cooking hillbillies and being surrounded by some of the lowest-ranking and least educated populations in the nation. But the people sure are friendly, so you've got that going for you, which is nice. Is the economy thriving in these states? The economies in these struggling states are about as thriving as a 3-legged dog in a butt-scooting competition. Industries are fleeing, jobs are scarce, and state budgets are tighter than a mosquito's tweeter. But with stunning perseverance in the face of fiscal irresponsibility, these states' economies continue to circle the drain with grit and determination. Should I buy property there? Buying property in these states is like buying oceanfront property in Kansas. The value just ain't gonna hold up. While home prices may seem temptingly low, your home value will drop faster than a lead balloon. Our advice? Rent, don't buy. That way, when the state goes completely belly up, you can make a quick getaway. In all seriousness, every state has its charms and challenges. But these struggling states face some very real difficulties that even irreverent humor can't fully mask. Unless you go in with eyes wide open or have a high tolerance for economic hardship, you may want to consider more prosperous pastures. The choice is yours. So there you have it, folks. The worst states to live in America, according to science or something. Hopefully you weren't offended to see your home state on the list. Or maybe you were and are currently plotting your angry comment as you clutch your pearls. Either way, we can't all live in paradise. Somebody's got to populate the pits of misery that are America's least livable states. Might as well be you. Of course, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. One person's endless tract of bland suburbia is another's excitement-filled concrete jungle. But with data-driven rankings, numbers don't lie. Whether you're looking to move or just want to feel better about your current situation, this list gave you what you came for. Now go forth and feel smugly superior to the poor saps stuck in these hopeless holes. Just kidding. Every state has its charm if you look hard enough, even Louisiana. Well, maybe not Louisiana. That place really does suck.